Well, the mood is great at Chelsea, but Enzo Maresca isn't thinking about the title race.
The good thing is that I like to think on the day by day. So in which moment something can change, I don't know. The main focus for me is and it's not something that I say because I have to say that. It's because I really think that. Because it's the only way to improve me and to improve the players. It's just focus on what we can do better in terms of training session, improve players and improve the team. This is the only main focus for me. And then in which moment we can think it's something different.
So the teams are out here at Stamford Bridge. Enzo Maresca persists in insisting that Chelsea are not in the Premier League title race, but they can close the gap to leaders Liverpool to just 2 points with a victory tonight. Brentford are here to cause another shock in the West London derby. Can they win here for a fourth season in a row, I wonder? As Stuart Pearce, it could be really exciting tonight. So much talent in this Chelsea team in particular going forward. And where does Cole Palmer rank for you in terms of the Premier League's best players at the moment?
Well, you would have to say he's certainly in the best one or two or three at this moment in time. Last season was an incredible season for him, no doubt about that. He's led as well this season. It's not been a flash in the pan last year. It's been brilliant this season. And when you look at Chelsea's front four, and it's interchangeable, Joe, they've got goals all over that front four and assists, and he's arguably as good as anything at the moment.
Raucous noise at Stamford Bridge as the teams were announced to the crowd here. 4 league wins in a row for Chelsea, and Brentford with this remarkable record at the G-Tech, but they just cannot buy a goal or barely a point away from home. Just one all season in the Premier League, and really is a remarkable run that they have had. The stats very much suggest that Chelsea should be the dominant force tonight, but such is the beauty of the Premier League, you never know for sure, and Brentford just love playing here. Stuart, there must have been grounds in your career that you love going to. There's something about Stamford Bridge that brings out the best in Brentford.
Well, what you've got to understand, this is a local derby, you know. Brentford is just down the road.
Yep.
The fans are here. Derby matches especially are up in the mix in many, many ways, and Brentford, it's almost like an FA Cup tie, if you like. I don't want to belittle Brentford, but they'll come here with their rich neighbours down the road and say, you know what, we can gate-crash your party.
Well, that's what they're hoping to do tonight. Live on TalkSport 2 under the floodlights. What a game we have ahead for you in the Premier League after Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3 earlier, and Manchester City 1, Manchester United 2. City 9 points off the pace in the title race. It's Liverpool who lead the way at the moment, but can Chelsea close the gap tonight? And if they do, there'll be no denying it. They're right at the heart of the Premier League title race this season. Brentford will get us off and underway. This is one of 50 live games in December across the TalkSport network. Brentford in the red and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks, and Chelsea in royal blue with white socks. Brentford attacking the Matthew Harding end of the ground in the first half, away to our right, and Chelsea from right to left towards the shed end, which is split between home and away supporters. Damsgaard kicks the game off. Back he goes to Flecken. And the Brentford goalkeeper takes a couple of touches and rolls the ball square to Nathan Collins. So Chelsea with Sanchez in goal tonight, Gusto back at right back, Tosin in at centre half, Colwell and Cucurella, Caicedo alongside Fernandes in midfield, Madueke, Palmer and Sancho behind Jackson up front. And for Brentford, Flecken is the goalkeeper. It looks like they have started with a back three. Van den Berg, Pinnock and Collins. Roerslev and Lewis Potter are the wing backs. Norgard, Yarmoliuk and Damsgaard in midfield, and Burmo and Visser with 9 goals each so far this season are the two up front. And it's not hard to recognise that should be where Brentford's most potent threat lies. Norgard has steered the ball out to the left, the far side, and now an opportunity for Lewis Potter to drive in field away from Madueke. That's a deep reverse ball to the back post and easily plucked out of the air by the Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. A quick throw out straight away, and Chelsea are on the attack on the near side of the field with Cole Palmer. 35 times Chelsea have found the back of the net in the Premier League so far this season. That is 4 more than at least anybody else. In fact, Brentford and Tottenham are their nearest rivals. Of course, Southampton against Spurs live right now over on TalkSport, but nearly 90 seconds played here. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. We'll get a word from Stuart Pearce in just a moment. Sancho for Chelsea, back to Colwill, left edge of the penalty area, whips in the cross, headed away by Collins. It'll drop down now towards the feet of Malo Gusto. Caicedo went down under the challenge, referee plays the advantage. Enzo Fernandez from the dead ball line whips in across, Ethan Pinnock steers it away, and Brentford deal relatively easily with that Chelsea attack. Good evening again, Stuart.
Evening, Joe. As I say, the game's just developing a little pattern now. Chelsea have just survived this sort of early onslaught from Brentford. They leave two at the back, they get it forward quickly, get numbers up, and just ask the question of Chelsea, really. Are you ready, mentally as well as physically for this game? And now it's just developing into a possession-based Chelsea attack.
Great noise at Stamford Bridge. Is it to reflect the optimism at Chelsea at the moment? Nobody expected them to be title contenders, but it feels like they are. Ball has been played back to Malo Gusto. Right wing cross in towards Jackson, and the header just wide. Got a really good jump there. Did Jackson on his marker, Van den Berg, 6 yards out, and unlucky not to be able to direct it on target 0-0.
Yeah, good ball in, and as I say, it was probably just slightly too high for him to direct it, probably back across the goalkeeper where it come from, and it skidded off the top of his head and just sailed past this far post. As I say, they've got quite an effective front line. Sancho, Madueke on good form, and you've got Jackson up there with good pace as well.
Tottenham lead at Southampton by a very early goal to 0. James Maddison has put Spurs in front at St Mary's. It's live right now over on TalkSport. You can just download our free app, and that way you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. We've got as well as 50 live games this month, all 10 in the Premier League on Boxing Day, live on the TalkSport network. The Monday Night Football tomorrow night, Bournemouth against West Ham, and the Carabao Cup quarters to come next week as well, and Brentford are part of that. We'll have updates of their trip to Newcastle United. Really is a remarkable measure of how far Brentford have come. Premier League mainstays these days, and pushing in the domestic cup competitions as well. All credit to Thomas Frank and many others on and off the field. Colwill has possession for Chelsea. Left back area, sliding in to intercept is Van den Berg. Chelsea throw 0-0 for goal.
Yeah, what you've got to say as well, I mean, whilst the likes of Fulham have spent money this summer, West Ham have spent money, a lot of clubs have spent money, Brentford have been pretty frugal with what they've done, I think, you know what I mean, and showing very good business acumen in the transfer market.
You're right, Stuart, their net spend is not that high at Premier League level. Visser and Caicedo just getting a talking to from the referee. Caicedo shifting into a central area tonight. Romeo Lavia isn't fit, so Chelsea have brought back Gusto at right fullback. I tell you what, it's not a bad swap, is it, for Enzo Maresca, who's down below us on the near side touchline?
Well, this is probably why you've got to talk about Chelsea as title contenders, because they can interchange players as readily as you've just suggested.
They're right at the back of the three-tiered East Stand, and a very steep drop to the touchline below. Great noise at Stamford Bridge, where the crowd are nice and close to the pitch. These are quite tight and compact surroundings. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. Brentford lose the ball on the halfway line. Tosin will roll it back to goalkeeper Sanchez, who hasn't always entirely convinced. Long high clearance upfield, and the header down and away by the former Liverpool man Van den Berg. Chelsea throw in the left back spot. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3, a result from earlier. So Palace now 4 points clear of the drop zone. Ipswich currently occupy 18th position in the Premier League. And would you believe it, Manchester City 1, Manchester United 2 earlier. 2 late goals for Manchester United, including an injury time winner from Amad Diallo. Celtic beat Rangers on penalties to win the Scottish League Cup, and wins in the Championship today for Watford and for Burnley at Norwich. Again live on TalkSport 2. We've got a live cricket later for you as well. Chelsea now with Tosin, tall and slender, inside the centre circle here. Brentford have definitely started with a back five, well, at least out of possession, Stuart. That's how they've started.
Yeah, they certainly have. So they drop in there, they're nice and compact, and you've got sort of Visser, the highest man most of the time, with Mbuemo operating just behind him, actually, interchanging, but ready for the counter-attack.
Here is Sancho, left wing position near side for Chelsea, shuffles infield, everybody inside the Brentford half to our left, bar the Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. And Chelsea dominating possession and territory. They've impressed in just about every competition so far this season. Enzo Maresca's team won their last 6 in all competitions and unbeaten in their last 9 matches. Their last defeat was to Newcastle in the League Cup at the end of October. TalkSport 2-0 on a chilly night at Stamford Bridge. It's given away by Sancho. Roerslev stands firm. Brentford sitting off Chelsea. Thomas Frank, the Brentford head coach, emerges to his small technical area for the first time in the game. Chelsea with Malo Gusto dinking the ball up the inside right channel, way over hit, and a goal kick to Brentford at the shed end to our left.
It's interesting to see how many of these Chelsea players have come on from last year. Gusto's caught my eye this year. I think he's improved. Madueke definitely. Sancho's been a good recruit as well, and he's certainly having good impact now. And exactly that. As I say, come with good esteem. You know, being successful this summer internationally. So he's. Everyone seemed to a man almost have improved. Casado as well. I weren't sure about Casado last year. This year he's looking a solid performer.
Stuart Pearce with us tonight. We've thoroughly enjoyed all of the usual hospitality at Chelsea, haven't we? They never let you down here.
Yeah, we're not shy around a buffet, it's fair to say, Joe.
How many courses? Let's not say.
4 for me.
Here's Sancho, infield for Chelsea from the left, to the feet of Colwill. It's attack v defence in these early stages. Brentford very deep, with 8 minutes played 0-0. Brentford now break with Yarmolenko. Good ball over the halfway line. And Burma will chase. Out comes Sanchez, outside his penalty area, the goalkeeper, and he clears left-footed straight out of play. Got a good starting position. Maybe the clearance wasn't the best, but he got the job done nonetheless.
Yeah, he did. He's the one you always think when Chelsea play that Sanchez might make that odd error, odd mistake potentially, but I think Brentford will look to get it forward, and they've got willing runners at the front end of the team in Visser and Mbuemo that have got a little bit of pace to cause a problem.
Chelsea, if they win tonight, close the gap on Liverpool to just 2 points. Brentford could go 6th with a win. High ball over the top towards Madueke. Inside right channel, the far side for Chelsea, and he's been blocked off by Norgard with ease. Norgard, who is such an integral player to this Brentford side, the captain. Now Collins, who's had an excellent season at centre-half, smuggles the ball forward only as far as Malo Gusto. And Chelsea have it now with Moises Caicedo. Square to Cucurella, 25 yards out. Further wide left is Sancho, taking on Roerslev in swinging ball. Good block by Roerslev, who's going to have to do a really diligent job defensively today. In by Colwill high, deep to the back post, and Madueke not quite on the uptake quick enough, and it evaded him, and the ball is swept out of play, and it's a Brentford throw on the far side.
Yeah, Madueke should have been reading that slightly better. He was flat-footed. He'd just give the ball away slightly earlier than that. Don't know whether that was playing on his mind and not perceptive enough to get on the end of that crossfield pass.
Southampton bottom of the table 0, Tottenham 1 is the latest score in the Premier League tonight, live on TalkSport. 2 matches, a Premier League double bill, both underway at 7 o'clock, and the only place you can hear them is on the TalkSport network. The ball has been cleared away by Brentford's Pinnock, headed towards the left-hand side, hooked over his shoulder by Collins, and no great shape to Brentford's defending momentarily there. Chelsea win the ball back easily, just inside opposition territory. I wonder what Thomas Frank makes of the early patterns of play with the score still 0-0.
I think he'll be quite pleased. He understands that probably his team won't dominate possession, but I don't think that worries him and Brentford. As long as they're nice and tight defensively, don't create too many spaces in behind their back line.
A lively turn by Jackson on the halfway line, and he gets the return ball from Sancho, just in front of the 2 dugouts. Enzo Maresca applauds in his big Chelsea puffer jacket. Caicedo high over the top towards Jackson, left into the penalty area, shoots! Tipped over by Flecken, turned it away, and the ball has stayed in play. Chelsea have it back now with Sancho in the left wing position. Good rising drive by Jackson from a very tight angle, and fine reactions from the goalkeeper as Palmer's cross is blocked by Norgard. Chelsea throw, all Chelsea early on here.
Tell you what, this Chelsea team have got good athleticism right through the team, you know. They've got some good athletes amongst them. They've got players that can take players on one-on-one. They've got a little bit of everything in the ranks at the moment.
They're really lively, and they've come out looking like they've got a point to make here, Chelsea, tonight.
Well, I think with Arsenal dropping points, Man City dropping points, and
Liverpool.
Exactly that. You know, it could be a very fruitful weekend for them.
Maybe the onus is on Chelsea in the title race. Sancho left wing position again, teases it back to Colwill in front of the Brentford fans. Colwill's high cross, headed away, drops down to Malo Gusto, touches heavy. Never scored a senior goal, Malo Gusto. Looked unlikely to get the shot away from the edge of the penalty area there. And Burmo was fouled. He's gone down holding his knee. The referee has allowed advantage to be played. I don't see that there's any great advantage when Brian Burmo is down midway inside his own half. He does eventually stop the game. So it's 0-0 on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Bournemouth against West Ham live tomorrow. Search Now Sports, and here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as I say, and Buemo's just got to his feet, just caught there. The referee in a difficult situation. He's waved play on, which he made a very, very good decision on, but the Brentford players didn't play on. They stopped stone dead. So what do you do as a referee there? You've got to stop the game and give the free kick eventually.
I think, Stuart, what probably sums up Brentford's season, and Burmo and Visser have both scored 9 goals each in the Premier League. 8 of those have been at home each. So they both only scored 1 away league goal apiece this season so far.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to look right through their ranks and see the stats, see what they're creating, how many opportunities home to away. Make very interesting reading for those geeks who like stats like myself.
Here is Cucurella in the left back position for Chelsea with space to drive into. Over the halfway line he goes, further wide on the overlap is Sancho. It's 0-0, 13th minute, Sancho to Palmer, tried a low ball across the face of goal. Good block coming across from Roerslev. Chelsea have a back again now with Colwill. Midway inside the Brentford half, a sea of red and white shirts between Malo Gusto and the goal. Now Madueke delivers left-footed from the right-hand side, that in-swinging cross again, well dealt with by Van den Berg. It's back with Colwill for Chelsea. Out to Jadon Sancho, and infield to Palmer, 25 yards out. Immediately Palmer surrounded by Brentford players, and Brentford are really defending the edge of the D. They're defending the edge of the 18-yard line early on in the game at the moment. And on the left again is Jadon Sancho. 3,000 Brentford fans have made the very short trip, of course, only 4 miles between the two clubs, and Gusto thinks about a long-range shot on the left foot, and it deflects into the path of Palmer, and then the ball is punched away by goalkeeper Flecken. Not a great deal of power behind it. Goalkeeper couldn't catch it though. Chelsea have got it back with Madueke on the far side there right, and it is pretty relentless, this Chelsea possession deep inside Brentford territory.
Joe, there's, having watched Chelsea last year,
in by Colwill, left-footed, Madueke back post across the face of goal. He miscued it. Nobody in blue there to get the touch. Chelsea are going to score here, Stuart, aren't they?
Well, it certainly looks that way. Having watched Chelsea last year as a comparison, they looked shaky at the back on occasion, and they didn't look to have good patterns of play through the ranks. This is a totally different Chelsea team. It really is. You can see the patterns through the team, good interactions between the players. The players seem to understand what each other want as such.
Southampton 0, Tottenham 2 in the Premier League tonight. Heung-min Son and Spurs have made a fast start live on TalkSport.
Well, my predictions are going down the pan. I predicted that City couldn't get beat today and Southampton would win, and this is going to be 4-2, so to Chelsea. So let's just keep an eye on that one.
Probably be 0-0 now. In by Gusto towards Cucurella at the back post jumping, and it's gone behind. It's now 3-0 to Spurs. Dejan Kulusevski, 3-0 inside 15 minutes, and Southampton are falling apart again at the bottom of the Premier League as Chelsea win a corner in front of the Brentford fans at the shed end, near side their left, and there are Chelsea fans, I think there were 1 or 2 stewards maybe cheering that Chelsea corner, because they really feel here that they can make some headway against Brentford early on. Brentford who've so struggled away from home.
Oh, they're definitely building up a head of pressure, that is for sure. Brentford being penned in these opening 15 minutes.
Enzo Fernandez, one arm up into the air, ready to take the corner, plenty forward in royal blue. It's whipped into the near post and into the side netting. Hands to his head, Enzo Fernandez, whose form has greatly improved in recent weeks, I think it's fair to say, Stuart, when you look not just at the goals that he's scored, but the influence that he's had on the game as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think when he first come to the club, I remember watching his first few games, looked very impressive individual in a Chelsea side that weren't playing particularly well. And then he just lost a little bit of form, but he's just coming back into that again. He's coming into a bit of form, Listen, he's got a great CV, and there's no doubt about that. He's an outstanding player, but right through the ranks they're playing particularly well at the moment, Chelsea, but Brentford will be coming here trying to spoil the party, that is for sure.
Damsgaard in the centre circle, a sliced crossfield pass headed away by Cucurella, who easily got there with great authority in front of the bearded Mbumo. Floodlights beaming down from up above at Stamford Bridge, little gap in the stands where you can see the lights of West London nearby. Sanchez lets the ball run across his right foot, and that was perilously close to goal, hence the groan from the Chelsea fans, but he gets away with it, the goalkeeper.
As I mentioned earlier, you always put your heart and your mouth a touch with Sanchez. Always gives you an opportunity.
Just keep an eye on Cole Palmer, who's maybe not moving quite as freely as you'd expect.
Just copped a dead leg from that last corner, clashed at the near post, and just limping away in present.
17 minutes which have been dominated by Chelsea, no question about that, but it is still goalless at Stamford Bridge in the West London derby. Southampton 0, Tottenham 3 in the Premier League. Man City 1, Man United 2 earlier, and Brighton 1, Palace 3. Long throw into the area, headed away by Tosin. It's come back out to the far side, the left, and now the opportunity for Brentford to try and cross into the penalty area again. Jackson is across doing his defending impressively and diligently, and the ball is out of play. Pinnock trying to gallop forward, and Jackson able to shepherd it behind it. It's a goal kick to Chelsea at the Matthew Harding end.
Yeah, it's amazing how a team, there were signs of a good Chelsea squad stroke team last year on the odd occasion, but all of a sudden they've come up to air. There's a camaraderie there. You looked as though they were short of leadership, I thought, last year when you looked at the ranks, but all of a sudden they look so much better in how they're playing the game, the patterns through the team, the confidence within the group.
Everything's changed at Chelsea, it feels like, this season, even despite an impressive end to last year under Maurizio Pochettino, who of course didn't last the summer. Headed by Colwill on the halfway line, and the ball is won back by the tenacious Jarman Leek, a young man who's impressed in midfield for Brentford this season. It feels like his breakthrough. Brentford do have injuries yet again, which gives even more illustration to the job that Thomas Frank has done. Here are Chelsea with Gusto in the right back spot. We've got live cricket coming up for you later tonight on TalkSport 2. Day 3 of the third test between England and New Zealand in Hamilton, as Brentford win it back now. Collins down the middle, Visser inside left channel, 1-on-1 with Tosin, ball across the face of goal. Tosin stood up to it well. Former Fulham man, of course, knows a thing or two about West London derby games, and he's turned the ball behind it. It's a corner to Brentford, their first of the game.
Yeah, he dealt with him really well there. Visser got the ball inside left channel into the box, and really he's tried to shove it through Tosin's legs, and it just didn't work. For me, he's got to drop his shoulder, feint a little bit, and get his shot away and drive one at the goalkeeper.
Damsgaard is the man who is standing over this corner for Brentford. It'll be right-footed and in-swinging. Oh, he's drilled it low towards the near post. Terrible delivery. Got it luckily back off Palmer. Damsgaard whips in the high cross to the back post, and that's equally poor in a very different way. It looped over everybody in red and white and was easy for Sanchez to gather on his line. How is Cole Palmer moving at the moment, Stuart?
I think he's okay, to be fair. It's just a clash of coming together. The way he swept that ball across field, I think that answers your question, Joe.
Beautifully controlled by Madueke. Lovely dinks. Wednesday Fernandez, and Flecken from a very tight angle makes the save with his feet. It's a save you'd expect the goalkeeper to make. Chelsea at their free-flowing best, and they win a corner.
This is how you know a team are used to playing with each other. There's been a couple of times now where there's been inside runs and little slide passes into the box where players, firstly it was Cole Palmer got a shot away, then it was Fernandez getting a shot away. That little understanding between players.
TalkSport 2, 20 minutes played. He's getting hero worship now, isn't he, Palmer, as he goes across to take the corner. Who'd have thought that? The former Manchester City man in front of the shed end, plenty forward in Chelsea royal blue. All of them in and around the 6-yard box, and the referee stopped the taking of the corner, which has ended up in the back of the net. Palmer will have to take it again. The whistle had long gone, and Colwill is being spoken to by the referee. Cucurella is nearby as well. And is it Keane Lewis Potter who's having to try and stick with Colwill here at the corner? I think it is.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's pushing, shoving, blocking, you name it. Players not looking at the ball. It really is Can be a bit of a jumble in there.
Palmer will take the corner again here for Chelsea. Brentford with everybody back, whipped into the near post and punched up into the air by Flecken. Not very far, headed clear by Damsgaard from inside the penalty area, back in by Caicedo, straight to Damsgaard, who scoops it clear up to the halfway line, and retrieving it is Sancho with a heavy back pass, actually very calmly controlled by the Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez this time. We've breezed through the first 21 and a half minutes. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, so Chelsea would miss the chance as it stands to close the gap on Liverpool to just 2 points. But of course Chelsea very much ensconced in the race for the title, and I think Brentford will be quite happy, Stuart Pearce, that it's still 0-0.
Yeah, they will. I think the downside of Brentford's play at the moment, they've had a couple of opportunities to put set plays in there, and the delivery's been a bit disappointing, whether it be from a long throw they've not got on things or corners, and that's a part of their game that I'm sure they pride themselves on.
A Carabao Cup commentary is next week. Arsenal against Crystal Palace and Southampton against Liverpool on Wednesday. Spurs against Manchester United on Thursday. And we'll have updates of Newcastle against Brentford at St James's Park on that Wednesday night. Bournemouth against West Ham in the Premier League tomorrow in the Monday Night Football. Already seen so much remarkable drama today in the Premier League. Gary O'Neill, the Wolves manager, has lost his job. Never nice to see any manager leave a football club, but that felt inevitable, I think, Stuart, didn't it?
Well, it did. I was very protective towards him probably a month ago when you looked at the fixtures. He had a real tough pile-up of fixtures at the start of the season. He didn't play anyone in the bottom half of the league, and all of a sudden you think to yourself, well, once he starts playing some of the lower teams.
Here comes Gusto, surging over the halfway line, and he's got 3 in blue in support. Brentford backing off, Gusto to Palmer, edge of the D, well controlled, wide to Sancho, Cucurella on the overlap, dinks in the cross, diving header away. Keane Lewis Potter, Chelsea throw, 10 yards from the corner flag. Great enthusiasm about the Chelsea fans for their team. That connection with the crowd, I think, has really been rediscovered under Maresca.
Yeah, it certainly has. As I say, last season there were signs of it on occasion, but not regularly enough. This season I think Chelsea have shown more level of consistency in their play.
Very quick on the transition, Chelsea, so far tonight, but Brentford have looked adept defensively and off the ball. The only point they picked up in the Premier League on the road this season was at Everton, and ironically that day they had Christian Norgard sent off in the first half, so it was a gutsy point, but too often away from home they've been blown away early on, and Chelsea have been blowing teams away in the Premier League all season as Flecken hacks the ball out of play, and there's a bit of disagreement in the Brentford ranks. I don't think Flecken wanted the ball there, and Chelsea will have a throw on the halfway line on that far side beneath the West Stand, and it's 3 tiers. Still Southampton 0, Tottenham 3, so, well, you'd think game over, wouldn't you, in the Premier League there on Talk Sport, as Mbomo wins the ball back off tossing down the Brentford left. Has now gone out of play for a Brentford throw. The referee is signalling that it has. I think the assistants disagreed initially, and the Chelsea fans are not happy, but it might allow Brentford, as you say, Stuart, to whip in one of these long throws, and off goes Pinnock to get ready to take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the play. What it does as well, it breaks the play up. When you're on the road and not got a good away form, slowing the play down, especially places like Chelsea, is a good thing, and Pinnock has got a hell of a throw on him.
Well, Norgard, Collins and Van den Berg are the obvious targets inside the penalty area, and Mbomo at the near post as well, with Yarmoliuk. Visser also lurking. Long throw by Pinnock towards Van den Berg, headed away at the near post by his opposite number, Chelsea number 4, Tosin. Madueke, clever touch, Sancho racing down the middle, big gaps here for Brentford, big problems for Brentford. Sancho inside right, high ball over the top, Madueke brings it down inside the area, but he couldn't bring it under complete control, swept away by Visser. Palmer was right in front of Sancho, nobody anywhere near him. Sancho elected to play a much more difficult ball.
Yeah, it was an incredible break there. 4 players set sail against 2 defenders, and probably if Madueke left the ball to Fernandes, who was just in behind him, might have been a better option.
Chelsea back in action here in the Conference League on Thursday against Shamrock Rovers, already into the knockout stages of that competition. Chelsea, you'd expect them to win it. Far and away, you would think, the best team in the UEFA Conference League this season, Chelsea. Here is Malo Gusto, right wing position. He looks up, faced up by Damsgaard, who has, I think rightfully, won rave reviews for his Brentford performances this season. 26 minutes gone, and the breakthrough yet to come here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. Yarmoliak, good look over his shoulder, saw the goalkeeper was under pressure initially. Flecken then took up a different position and was able to clear high and long downfield. Brentford can't really make it stick at the moment, though, Stuart.
No, and that is a problem for them. As I say, the ball comes back too readily.
Darting down the middle is Palmer now, edge of the tee, left is Jackson. Jackson shoots right-footed, and Pinnock with a last-ditch challenge to turn it behind for a corner.
Yeah, good play there by Chelsea. Palmer got his head up, looked for the shot, knew it wasn't on, decided to flick it to Jackson. And to be fair to Pinnock, he got across really well, dropped down to one knee, akin to a goalkeeper picking a ball up, and just deflected wide.
It's 4-0 to Tottenham at Southampton. Pap Sarr with the latest goal live on Talk Sport tonight. Some Southampton fans had left at 3-0, but the ground will be emptying now. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. Rather closer encounter here on Talk Sport 2, at least so far. Enzo Fernandez to take the corner, right-footed, goalkeeper stays on his line, rooted to the line, and Madueke heads it wide. Early today in the Premier League, Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3, Man City 1, Man United 2. We've got Manchester City's next game away at Aston Villa, live as part of Game Day on Saturday on Talk Sport. That's a 12:30 kickoff. Another big day in the Premier League before we get into the Christmas period. Ipswich against Newcastle next weekend as well on Talk Sport 2. Then all 10 Premier League games live for you on the network on Boxing Day. Caicedo over the halfway line. He's given it straight to Yarmoliak, who gets the return ball from Mbeumo but can't steer it back out wide to Roerslev. What of that chance for Madueke from the corner, Stuart Pearce?
Yeah, to be honest with you, doesn't look like an individual that enjoys heading the ball, to be fair, you know.
He has many talents.
Yeah, indeed he does.
Possibly that, not one of them.
No, Tosin was behind him and probably would have been better off getting out of the way.
Roerslev has pulled it back towards Damsgaard, cleared away. Excellent intervention by Cucurella sliding in. And then the ball goes out of play for a corner to Brentford. Damsgaard about 8 yards out as he struck that, and it was certainly an impressive block, I think, by Colwill.
Colwill got there. In fact, it was an incredible block. That was going in the far corner. And Colwill stretched out a right leg and just blocked the trajectory of the ball. Fantastic defending.
So now here comes the corner to Brentford at the Matthew Harding end. Plenty forward again in red and white. Chelsea with a rare bit of defensive work to do in the game. Brentford haven't tested Sanchez yet. In by Mbeumo, into the 6-yard box. Good header away by Tosin. Very dominant aerially Tosin. And actually, he has started his Chelsea career, I think, with great confidence, the 27-year-old. He's headed it clear as far as Flecken, the Brentford goalkeeper. Hammers a high diagonal ball out to the left-hand side, well controlled by Norgard, who loops it across, headed away by Cucurella this time. Chelsea sweep the ball further forward with Jackson over halfway. Palmer cuts inside into a more central area, away from Mbeumo, and then he wanted Madueke to make the run down the right, but the crossfield ball out of play. And dare I say it, with half an hour gone, maybe some Chelsea fans expected this to be a walkover tonight, given Brentford's away form, but it hasn't been that way, Stuart Pearce, so far.
No, it certainly hasn't, and to be honest with you, the longer the game goes without Chelsea scoring, you know, they've got to try and erode the confidence and keep putting pressure on Brentford, but at this moment in time, I don't think they've had too many clear-cut chances, Chelsea.
The ball's been given away to Caicedo. Now Palmer, quick ball out to the left, and the long-haired Cucurella, instantly recognisable. Sancho back to the halfway line, and now here is Tosin all alone in the centre circle, and there's lots of space for Malo Gusto as well. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0 on Talk Sport 2. Roddy Madueke, edge of the 18-yard area, back to Gusto, one touch control, the other to cross, only half headed away by Norgard. Jackson's touch, headed away by Roerslev, again not very far, only to the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Palmer, clever flick over his shoulder, looking for Enzo Fernandez. It's like pinball on the edge of the Brentford box. Now it's back to Malo Gusto, low ball into the near post, it was fizzed into Enzo Fernandez, who couldn't control. Now Lewis Potter's lost possession. That's sloppy for Brentford. Noni Madueke out on the right hand side. all left foot as he takes on Damsgaard, then dribbles to the dead ball line, delivers right-footed, turned behind by Norgard. The latest odds are with William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now, Chelsea to win at 3-10, Brentford to win at 13-2, and the draw at 9-2. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Here comes the next Chelsea corner. Palmer belatedly going to take it.
I think, to be fair, Chelsea done extremely well there. They kept the attack alive 2 or 3 occasions. Brentford just couldn't get out of their final 30 metres. They really couldn't. Cucurella first off, making sure the ball couldn't come out.
Palmer's left-footed in swinging corner. Out comes the goalkeeper, punches it away at the near post. It's come back out to Palmer again. Level the edge of the area. That's a great ball in. Tosin goes up for it. And then hit on the volley by Sancho. Into the side netting. No touch from Flecken. The Brentford fans cheer ironically. Chelsea, was it a half chance for Sancho, or given his potential quality, could he have done even better?
Well, it was a difficult one. The ball coming from a height, but he's hitting it on the volley. Anything on target's going to cause a big problem from that distance. But who done extremely well there? The ball come back out of Cole Palmer. A lot of players would have probably took a touch, slowed it down. He whipped it straight back in the box. Good play.
Damsgaard collects possession, halfway line, ball over the top to the right, and Wissa, 2 in the penalty area. Johan Wissa delivers deflection on the cross, and Sanchez did well, good handling, edge of the 6-yard box, and the Chelsea goalkeeper wants to start a quick attack, but eventually saw that nobody really in blue was available, much to the frustration of the Chelsea fans behind his goal. Colwell now tapping the ball forward 10 yards to Caicedo, who wins a throw in the left-back position. Southampton 0, Tottenham 4 on TalkSport tonight in the first half. 32 minutes gone there. We've had nearly 33 at Stamford Bridge, and it's goalless.
Well,
on TalkSport 2.
Second season started with Gary O'Neill. I wonder, with this scoreline at Southampton, whether
is it sustainable, the Russell Martin style in these circumstances? We don't know the circumstances of the Spurs goals tonight, but you do wonder. And so many times it's individual errors, isn't it, for Southampton? And Tottenham could yet add more goals. That was billed as a potentially difficult game for Ange Postecoglou. Wins for Manchester United in the Manchester derby earlier, and for Crystal Palace at Brighton in the Premier League early today. Celtic, the Scottish League Cup winners. Watford and Burnley victors in the Championship this afternoon. As Caicedo plays the ball back to goalkeeper Sanchez, and now Colwell on the edge of the box. And Colwell, good intelligent ball, hit about 50 yards into the inside left channel. Jackson chasing, blocked off by Pinnock. Pinnock does well in combination with Roerslev to win it back.
I'll tell you where Pinnock done really well there. He knew that if Jackson got there first and got the run on him, he had a big problem.
The ball has come back to Sanchez. Square to Enzo Fernandez, edge of the tee. Reverse ball towards Madueke, who couldn't quite reach it. Brentford should smuggle it away. Collins has held on to the ball. Good composure under pressure from Collins. Brentford have it with Norgard. Actually, rarely have they looked all that stretched defensively today, Brentford, so far.
No, they've managed to... The good thing for Brentford is they've managed to get that 5-3-1-1 formation back behind the ball very quickly and stopped any counter-attack threat from Chelsea and not been isolated.
Such an irresistible Chelsea attacking threat. Brentford long over the halfway line. Out comes Sanchez, hammers it away. Good goalkeeping, and the offside flag, that checkered flag, belatedly goes up against Brown and Boomer. In fairness to Sanchez, Stuart, it sometimes does feel that every move he makes is under the microscope, doesn't it?
That's probably because he's given a few...
He has it, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
And the opposition see that as well. When you set your team up, you tell your strikers, go and press the goalkeeper. You see Caicedo as well, with his back to play, looks a little bit... nervous is the word. So between him and Sanchez, the opposition might think, hang on, we might get something here.
Here is Madueke. Quick feed on the far side, the right, taking on Lewis Potter in a one-on-one. Madueke checks back, plays the ball backwards 10 yards to Caicedo. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0 on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Sancho, 25 yards out, can't find Palmer. And the ball is cleared away by Christian Norgard, only as far as Yarmoliuk, tearing forward towards the halfway line, and he's been tracked all the way diligently by Cucurella. Wissa now 10 yards from the halfway line, angled ball to the right, and Yarma Leak again, who turns away from Sancho, and Brentford slow the game down and keep possession.
You just get the impression that Brentford are just gaining a little bit of confidence within the game at this moment in time. Just playing their way out at the back.
Pinnock under pressure from Jackson, heavy ball back to the goalkeeper Flecken in the yellow short sleeve shirt, and he's able to steer the ball to Collins, and now Van den Berg, edge of the Brentford penalty area. Brentford playing with confidence as they try to move the ball out of the final third, but Roslev gives it to Caicedo, left wing position, there could be trouble here, dead ball line, cuts it back, great interception by Pinnock. Otherwise, from the edge of the 6-yard box, Jackson might have had a tap in.
I'll tell you what, Pinnock's been outstanding these last few minutes. Dealt with Jackson, ended up cutting that one out. It's a goal if he doesn't cut it out.
37th minute, 0-0. Johan Visser, crossfield ball, picks out Lewis Potter deep inside the Chelsea half. He's let it run across his body. Now he's being jockeyed by Gusto. Has to go back to Collins. Offside flag is up against Lewis Potter. And it's a free kick to Chelsea. In the WSL today, Everton 2, Man City 1, Villa 3, West Ham 1, Palace 0, Man United 1, Liverpool 0, Arsenal 1. Chelsea still very much the league leaders in the WSL despite dropping points yesterday. Still Southampton 0, Spurs 4 in the Premier League live on Talk Sport. 13 shots on goal for Spurs, 1 for Southampton, and 61% Tottenham possession as well. A nightmare evening for Russell Martin and Southampton. They're bottom of the Premier League. They've only got 5 points given away by Colwill for Chelsea. And maybe Chelsea just slightly lacking that refinement in their play that they've had basically all season at the moment. Brentford have done an unexpectedly good job defending against them. And Brentford now, I'm thinking red and white stripes. Norgard back to Van den Berg, and Roslev steers the ball in field to the feet of Pinnock. It is a very composed display from Thomas Frank's Brentford so far.
It is. They're gaining a bit of confidence in this. Chelsea asking questions, but not clear-cut efforts at goal, and there's trouble.
Given away by Flecken, straight to Madueke, angle tight in the area, Madueke could save. He's made up for it, the goalkeeper, stretches one of those long legs to turn it wide of the post. He raises one arm in apology, he knows he gave the ball away, but Flecken then keeps out the shot. Well,
you lose count every weekend, Joe, don't you, of teams playing out from the back, and nearly could have been very, very costly for Brentford.
Enzo Fernandez takes the corner short to Cole Palmer. A fourth corner for Chelsea. Palmer steers the ball back to Caicedo, 30 yards out, rolls it wide again to Palmer on the near side, the Chelsea left. Quite quiet so far, Palmer. 0-0. Enzo Fernandez waiting for the run of Palmer. First time cross, turned away again by Flecken. Uses his feet, the goalkeeper, to knock back behind for a corner. Enzo Fernandez just pointed the way he wanted Palmer to make the run. He was unmarked and actually might have done better by his very high standards.
Yeah, really poor play there by Damsgaard. They've gone out to front up 2-on-2. All you've got to do is stay with your runner. You know, Cole Palmer's intelligent, but he's not a speed merchant. Just got done by the give and go.
Flecken starting to be worked harder in the Brentford goal. Chilly night at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, and Enzo Fernandez gets the ball back from Palmer, chips in a high cross deep to the back post. It's half brought down by Colwill on the stretch. Eventually Madueke will control in front of Lewis Potter, who commits a needless foul with Madueke retreating back towards the touchline, and that's a Chelsea free kick that Brentford should not have conceded.
No, he shouldn't. As I say, I think Madueke was quite cute there. Sort of went to ground when he felt any contact, and he was literally right on the touchline. There was no need for that.
Some of the Chelsea fans in front of us at the very top of the East Stand getting out of their seats and heading for the concourse areas ahead of half-time. A Chelsea free kick, Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer standing over it. As it stands, the gap to Liverpool would be 4 points. Liverpool, of course, will have a game in hand on everybody after the Merseyside derby was postponed a couple of weeks ago. And so will it be Fernandez or Palmer? Two players of great quality standing over the set piece. Palmer, it would be an in-swinging ball and closer to the goal line, and Enzo Fernandez from that position right-footed and out-swinging. Everybody back here for Brentford. In the 41st minute, on TalkSport 2. Delivered in by Palmer into the near post. Tosin went for it, and the flag is up on the far side. It came off Norgard, and Brentford get a free kick. Palmer then hammered the ball out of play, and the Brentford fans want a yellow card. I don't think there'll be any further punishment, though, from the referee, Peter Banks.
Yeah, really poor play there, getting offside. He was literally no movement from Tosin at all. He stood in an offside position and got flagged offside when the ball come in.
So, a first half that is maybe turning into something that you'd describe as a frustrating one for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think today's been an interesting day result-wise across the Premier League, and not many would have probably thought this would be 0-0 coming up to the first half. But, as we've seen many times before, goals just before half-time are critical.
Full marks to Brentford and Thomas Frank so far. Sanchez forward to Caicedo, edge of his own penalty area. Plays a first-time ball back to Tosin, who then charges forward at pace. Jackson's been quiet, deep inside his own half. Back he goes to Gusto with the orange boots on, and the high ball fizzed up the right-hand side. Madueke had to stretch to keep that in play. He did so brilliantly under the challenge of Collins, and then drives onto the outside and then back out wide onto the far side, the right again. He's teasing Collins, and he crosses to the back post. That's over hit, over Sancho. Cucurella picks up the loose ball, whips in his own delivery, headed away, drops to Caicedo, edge of the penalty area. Good work by Mbermo, just getting in front of Caicedo at the vital moment to hook it away from him and up to the halfway line.
Yeah, the one thing this Brentford team have got, a work rate and a togetherness. They've had that for many a year. Consistency of management has certainly enhanced that.
Still 0-0. Madueke, great ball, Cucurella, fine header, 1-0 Chelsea. What a brilliant cross from Madueke, left-footed and in swinging, and there was Mark Cucurella to head home from close range. His first Premier League goal for Chelsea, and there can surely be no doubt that Chelsea this season under Enzo Maresca are right at the heart of the Premier League title race. Just before half-time, they've broken Brentford down. It's a rare goal for Cucurella, set up by Madueke. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0.
Well, we're just mentioning what a horrible time it is, conceding just before half-time, and that's exactly what's happened to Brentford. Got to say, as you mentioned, great ball in. That little out-swinger, in-swinger as such, and Cucurella driving into the box, stooped, and just got an afro on it, really, didn't he? For want of a better word. Like an overgrown Kevin Keegan.
And it was enough to turn it beyond Fleck, and a glancing touch, wasn't it? Downward header into the bottom corner. The credit for the pass from Noni Madueke will be sizable. A wonderful in-swinging delivery, and Chelsea, on the balance of play, deserve to lead 1-0.
Yeah, potentially you're just looking at Brentford and you think they've just got comfortable in the game, you know, just got, they would be desperate to get to half-time, 0-0, very desperate on that, and all of a sudden they find themselves 1-0 down and Chelsea pressing again.
And this Chelsea team are relentless, and here is Palmer, midway inside the Brentford half. Now Enzo Fernandez, he's 35 yards out, he looks up, he plays it square to Palmer, left-footed drive, charged down, it loops up into the air, the ball, and then Jackson with an overhead kick from the edge of the box, and it's wide. 30 seconds of normal time to go in the first half. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0, here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they counter-attack just then by Chelsea, surging on again. Enzo really should be sliding Gusto in, who made a great run outside in, turned that down, and then an acrobatic overhead kick was never going to trouble the goalkeeper.
Madueke had started to trouble Brentford, hadn't he, on that Chelsea right-hand side, and he's always looking to cut in onto the left foot. And it was a ball of great quality, asking to be headed in, and Cucurella was there to oblige as we go into a minute of added time.
Yeah, it was a super ball. The ball made it, but the energy levels of Cucurella, he's been up and down all day, and he's getting into the box, and a stooping header there. Goalkeeper, no chance from that distance.
Well, Stuart will be on air on TalkSport after the final whistle with Scott Minto to react to an incredible day of football on, and action actually on and off the pitch in the Premier League. The managerial sacking at Wolverhampton Wanderers of Gary O'Neill, the win late on for Manchester United in the Manchester derby as City's crisis continues, and our Chelsea going to go within 2 points of Liverpool at the top. 1-0 up halfway through added time in the first half. Long throw by Pinnock towards the near post, header away by Colwill. Poor touch by Sancho, and he a little lucky that Collins couldn't bring the ball down for Brentford, who have got it back. Jackson makes the half tackle. Yarmoliuk steers the ball into the feet of Pinnock, who drills it in low, sliced up into the air by Tosin again. Not an entirely convincing clearance. Chelsea nearly there at the end of the first half. Madueke belts it upfield, and they are there. They lead at half-time. And Chelsea will get us off and underway for the second half from left to right. Royal blue with white socks towards the Matthew Harding end. Quite a few gaps in the stands as the second half begins here on TalkSport 2, and Brentford playing from right to left towards the shed end, which is where the away supporters are. Brentford in the red and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks. Lewis Potter looking to tear down the left, but he's blocked off by Malo Gusto, who tries to set Chelsea away on transition. Jackson is stopped by the sliding challenge of Collins, but it's one back Burns and Fernandes. Now Malo Gusto crosses high to the back post, and he's overhit that. It'll be a goal kick to Brentford. So Chelsea with Sanchez in goal, no changes. Gusto, Tosin, Colwill and the goal scorer Cucurella. Caicedo and Fernandes, with Madueke, whose cross for the opening goal was very impressive. Palmer and Sancho behind Jackson. And Brentford with Flecken in goal, Van den Berg, Collins and Pinnock the centre-halves, Roerslev and Lewis Potter the wing-backs, and Norgard in the midfield with Yarmoliuk, and Damsgaard playing a little higher in support of Visser and Mbermo. I'll remind you of the two sets of subs in just a moment as well. You're listening to TalkSport 2. A minute has been played, and that's a foul by Malo Gusto in front of the Brentford dugout, which is applauded by the Brentford boss Thomas Frank, the decision of the referee. Here is the England legend Stuart Pearce with us for commentary tonight on TalkSport 2. What are you expecting from the second half?
Well, I think Chelsea are going to swamp forward and look to get this second goal to hopefully put the game to bed slightly, but Brentford have got to slightly improve what I would say is keeping possession on turnover, and probably the set plays. That's something that they've got to put Chelsea under a touch more pressure on.
This is one of our 50 live games for you on the TalkSport network in the month of December, and it all continues tomorrow night. Bournemouth against West Ham in the Monday Night Football over on TalkSport. Free kick to Brentford, whipped in high by Mbermo. Here comes Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, collects well, and the quick pass is on from Madueke. Away on the left-hand side, races forward unchallenged towards the midway point of the Brentford half. Now Cucurella on the overlap. Cucurella with the chance to cross, and that's taken a deflection off Roerslev. It's a Chelsea corner, and of course the quandary for Brentford now is that Thomas Frank, particularly with their dreadful away form, he knows that if they were to concede a second, Stuart, that would probably be that.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. That Chelsea attack, they went with lightning speed. Now I'm just looking at Cucurella. He's not even breathing heavily. He's just run 100 yards.
Corner's been taken short, and now here is Palmer outside on the far side, the Chelsea left in front of the West Stand. He gets beyond Damsgaard, hooks in the high cross to the edge of the switch-yard box over the head of Tosin. It'll drop down now to Gusto. Infield, Madueke can size up the shot. Onto his right side, drills it in low. That's turned away. It was an awkward shot from Madueke on his weaker foot. Now Gusto crosses, headed away at the near post, this time by Van den Berg. Madueke on the edge of the D on that favoured left foot. Back to Sancho. Chelsea fans still retaking their seats in front of us. We're right at the back of the main stand, tunnel side. Steep drop to the touchline below. Sancho, right edge of the penalty area. Madueke with the shuffling feet away from Collins, who gets a good tackle in at the last moment, the Irishman. Very well timed, and it had to be that challenge inside the penalty area. He goes back to goalkeeper Flecken, who clears. But once again, territorially, Chelsea dominance in the second half, really, following the pattern of the first so far. 1-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, I wonder, Joe, the longer the game goes on, the more Brentford might change this five-man back line as such. They've struggled to turn that five into a three. Whether they'll change and go to a flat-back four potentially.
I wonder how many changes Russell Martin has made at half-time. He'd change the whole team if he could. Southampton 0, Tottenham 5. Second half will be on TalkSport tonight. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3 earlier. Man City 1, Manchester United 2. City 9 points off the pace in the race for the title. Celtic, the Scottish League Cup winners, on penalties over Rangers after a 3-3 draw. wins in the Championship for Watford and Burnley, and in the WSL for Everton over Manchester City, also for Arsenal, for Manchester United and for Aston Villa. Toss-in shepherds the ball back to the feet of the Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez, who belts it clear under pressure. That'll slice out of play for a Brentford throw right in front of Thomas Frank. And Brentford know that there is still hope in the game, as long as it remains realistically just 1-0. And their great record at Stamford Bridge, remember, in the Premier League is one that they want to keep intact. They won every single away trip to Stamford Bridge since becoming a Premier League club. And Chelsea hoping that jinx ends tonight.
I think this is going to be their biggest ask, that is for sure, being a goal down against a Chelsea team that are in very, very good form at this moment in time. And I think Brentford just need to get a little bit more decent service up to Visser and Mbuemo. They prove certainly that they can be a handful this season, but they're dealing with scraps at present.
Enzo Maresca watching proceedings from the edge of his technical area, hands in pockets. Has suggested Chelsea are not in the title race time and time again. Maybe he will have to look at that opinion again the longer the season goes on. 51 minutes have been played. Chelsea with calm and composed possession, playing with great authority, this Chelsea side. Palmer down the middle and a square ball to Gusto with the bright orange boots on. Wide right, Madueke again in a one-on-one situation with Lewis Potter. Ball into the feet of Palmer, edge of the area, skips beyond the defender. Surely was tripped. No free kick given. Cleared by Damsgaard over halfway. Mbuemo chasing. Good starting position from Robert Sanchez, who clears. Well, the referee must have felt that was a dive.
Well, that's all you can say, you know. And then you go to the situation, why wasn't he booked for diving if he thought it was a dive?
No retrospective booking as yet. Cucurella as well, retreating to win the ball back for Chelsea in his left back area, but yes, he had to charge back to whip it off the toes of Rösler. And now Chelsea break between the lines and find Palmer, who cleverly steers the ball forward into the path of Madueke. Inside right channel, plenty coming forward in support in blue. Madueke back towards Palmer, intercepted this time by Norgard. And the Brentford captain clears. Up to the halfway line where Lewis Potter knocks it left to Mbuemo. Not had a meaningful effort on goal in the game so far. Brentford, who have a trip to Newcastle in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in that night. We've got live commentary of Arsenal against Crystal Palace on Talk Sport and Southampton against Liverpool on Talk Sport 2. Goodness knows how many Liverpool might get that night. And then on Thursday in the Carabao Cup, it's Tottenham against Manchester United, and it has certainly been an absorbing night for Tottenham fans and a very good night for Ange Postecoglou. This game has much more jeopardy to it, though.
Yeah, indeed. Just have a look at that replay of Cole Palmer. I think he went down too cheaply, I really do. Looked to buy that free kick in a really good position for himself on the edge of the box.
They've got big overhanging television screens now at the top of the East Stand, so the fans can see what we're seeing on the monitors. Free kick to Brentford, 6 yards in field, 12 into Chelsea territory. Floated to the edge of the box by Mbuemo. Here comes Sanchez, collects it very well. Oh, and he's been shoved over there by Collins. So a free kick to Chelsea. Almost took it off the head of the Brentford man there, did Sanchez.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's come twice now, and he must have been a good 15, 16 metres out of his goal to come and pluck something. Fantastic goalkeeping, really was.
And Chelsea looking to make it 5 league wins on the spin tonight. Robert Sanchez, who didn't play in the win at Southampton recently. There was a Premier League debut in goal for Jurgensen, who is on the Chelsea bench tonight, along with Nkunku, Vega, who scored in European midweek, Samuel Raksaki. Early ball over the top for Chelsea towards Jackson down the left. Little touch towards Cucurella, cleared away by Pinnock. Guyu, Disasi, George, Dewsbury Hall and Achiampong also on the Chelsea bench, which has a very youthful look to it. Now Jadon Sancho infield from the far side, the Chelsea left. He thinks about an in-swinging right-footed cross. Brentford have got everybody in red and white back behind the ball. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0 on Talk Sport 2. As a contest, perhaps the game is riding on the next goal. Here is Madueke, corner of the penalty area near side. He thinks about another left-footed delivery, couple of step-overs. Back to Malo Gusto, delivers high to the back post. Sancho tries to pull it back, and it'll be smuggled away by Vandenberg. Out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, slightly overhit there. Sancho's done well to get something on it. Looks as though it was going out of play, and probably the best cross we've had in the game has led to the goal.
Brentford bench, by the way. Valdemarson, the goalkeeper. Carvalho, Janelt, Megoma, Aya, Konak, Schade, Me and Trevitt. They are stretched quite thin, Brentford, with some of the injuries that they've got. Here is Gusto for Chelsea, midway inside the Brentford half. Everybody inside the Brentford half of the field bar the Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez. Attack the defence feel about it. Madueke right across the face of goal, and Ethan Pinnock balloons it over the top into the lower tier of the Matthew Harding, where all those banners are saluting Chelsea legends of the past, and they have a corner.
Well, just in front of us, Thomas Frank's got the tacti board out now, showing one of his subs. So I think there'll be a change very, very shortly.
The tactic board or the iPad or whatever it is they use these days.
Yep, I can see the counters being moved around, the magnetic counters.
And Cole Palmer will take the corner for Chelsea. Their 7th of the game, left-footed, high to the back post and toss in. Chelsea wants a penalty. Cucurella went down. So too did Tossin, who's slowly getting up to his feet. Nothing's been given by the referee on the field. In fact, it was Colwell in the challenge.
I think there was a touch of WWF tag team wrestling there, Joe, at the far post.
Does that mean you're surprised it wasn't a penalty? Were they both at it?
To be fair, the referees just give up and think, well, they're all wrestling each other, I'll give nothing, and no one's
evens
bothered.
itself out, doesn't it?
Indeed it does.
11 minutes into the second half. Here comes the other corner from Palmer, and Flecken dropped it initially and then smuggled it away, diving forward the Brentford goalkeeper. That was a nervy moment for him. Immediately Chelsea retained possession. Enzo Fernandez pumps a glorious crossfield ball right to left of the feet of Sancho. Now he's taking on Rösler, who stands up to the challenge. Back though to Gusto, 25 yards out, whips the ball to the back post. Palmer really racing to try and keep it in, he can't. And it is a goal kick. So still just 1-0 to Chelsea against Brentford on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contracts on now, like Bournemouth against West Ham live tomorrow. Search Now Sports. I wonder when we'll see the first changes. When you were a manager, Stuart, was that sort of 60-minute unofficial rule one that you usually would look at as the sort of time to bring players on?
Depends on the scoreline and what you see with your eye, Joe, to be quite honest with you, but you want to have players to come on and have enough time to have an impact in the game. That's the important thing.
Visser down the Brentford right. Cucurella arms behind his side. Visser's deep cross is gathered by Sanchez, and too close to the goalkeeper. That floated delivery, a good height for Sanchez as well. And on the turn on the near side is Gusto. High ball up the near side channel. Good interception by Norgard. He turned cleverly there to take two in blue out of the game completely. And the ball is at the feet of Yarmolenko on the lip of the centre circle now as Brentford continue in possession. Norgard's high ball up the Brentford right. Yarmolenko lets it drop over his shoulder. He's away from Jadon Sancho. Back to Brian Mbeumo. Wisser awaits the cross. Mbeumo delivers. Damsgaard through the crowd. Couldn't get to it. It was just a touch over hit from Mbeumo.
I tell you what, Brentford throwing players forward now. They might just get caught on the break.
Chelsea are so quick on transition. Malo Gusto right edge of the penalty area, back to Palmer. Lovely flick. Enzo Fernandez. Good block. Into the run to Jackson. Surely offside. The flag does go up. Had to be offside. I don't know how he ended up in that position. Jackson. It was a good block from Van den Berg as Enzo Fernandez looked for what would have been his fourth goal in 5 appearances.
Yeah, Jackson's just picked off the middle to near post, thinking Gusto was going to whip one across the face of goal. Cole Palmer done extremely well on the edge of the box just to help it on to create a shooting opportunity.
It's an entertaining and energetic game, this. Stuart Pearce will be alongside Scott Minto, our summariser at St Mary's tonight, to react to the evening's football, the day's football over on TalkSport. Once we're done here on TalkSport 2, we'll bring you the live cricket, England against New Zealand. Cole Palmer down the middle for Chelsea, wriggles away from 2 and then 3 in red and white. Lovely work by Palmer, the ball sticking to his feet like glue. Sancho to the dead ball line, great acceleration, and now Jackson. What a miss! What a miss! And no offside flag to bail him out this time. on the edge of the 6-yard box. Was it easy to score, Stuart?
Well, it's fairly high. He's taking it on sort of side foot. And really, he had enough time to take a touch and just turn it into the net from there. Oh, he had so much time. He right on the 6-yard box, come across the face of goal, swung his left foot at it. Sancho's done brilliantly pulling this back. Well, really poor miss. That would have put the game to bed. Flecken, problem for him. He's down at the moment, so physio's on.
Almost too casual, almost nonchalant there, Jackson. Maybe not expecting the ball to reach him. And as you say, Stuart, Flecken is now being treated, the Brentford goalkeeper. An hour played, Chelsea 1, Brentford 0. It's still Southampton 0, Tottenham 5 in the Premier League on Talk Sport. It was 5-0 to Spurs at half-time. Elsewhere today in the Premier League, Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3, Manchester City 1, Manchester United 2. So City 1 win in 11, I had to check myself there, 9 points off the pace in the title race. Watford 2, West Brom 1, Norwich 1, Burnley 2 in the Championship. Celtic, the Scottish League Cup winners, after a 5-4 penalty shootout victory over Rangers, a 3-3 draw after extra time. Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 0, a full-time score. And in the WSL, Everton 2, Man City 1, Villa 3, West Ham 1, Palace 0, Man United 1, and Liverpool 0, Arsenal 1. As Brentford still continue to treat their goalkeeper, and now is Valdimarsson, the substitute, getting some final instructions possibly on the near side of the field. I think he might be. Manu Sotelo is the Brentford goalkeeping coach, and is Valdimarsson going to have to be brought into the game here? Well, that would be a dramatic change, and a change that Brentford don't want to make. They're going to stick with Flecken for now, but maybe the big Icelandic goalkeeper, he may yet make his Premier League debut tonight. We'll keep a good eye on Flecken. Even more reaction to today's football, including the sacking of the Wolves manager Gary O'Neill, by the way, on Talk Sport Breakfast tomorrow with Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist. And they're going to bring on Vitaly Janelt, who definitely is not a goalkeeper. Very shortly, Brentford, back from injury today. High ball over the top towards Mbermo, down the right-hand side. Colwell at his back. Colwell makes a challenge, and Chelsea win possession. Colwell marches forward. Now Sancho wins Chelsea a throw out on the left. Goalkeeper looks okay, Stuart, I think now.
Yeah, he's up. I think he's just stretching his shoulder off by the looks of it. So, yeah, he looks fine.
So here comes the change, and it's Damsgaard who leaves the field. And the German Janelt, who was the Players' Player of the Year last season at Brentford. He's the man who comes on.
I think he's been disappointing, Damsgaard, in the game today, I must say.
Not really influenced it, has he? But then neither have Mbermo and Visser all that much.
No, you're right. The supply line to them's been wanting, it's fair to say.
They will look to continue their excellent home record, Brentford, against Nottingham Forest next in the Premier League. That will be tough, though. Here come Brentford, far side the right with Yarmoliuk. Good ball now back to Rösler. He hangs up a high cross. Janel with the header, blocked off by Gusto, his first touch there. Good interception by Gusto, who's gone down, and the referee stops the game, much to the fury of the Brentford fans to the left half of the shed end, but it's a head injury, so he has no choice but to stop it. And here come the Chelsea physios, 1-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, Janelt was on the pitch a matter of seconds, and the ball, it looked as though he had a really free header there. He's got the header away. Just looking at the replay now, great cross into the box, lofted up. I'll tell you what, Janelt's headed the ball straight onto the back of Gusto's head, and that was enough to render him flat out.
Usually quite good in the air is Janelt. Gusto still down, receiving some treatment. No sign of any activity just yet on the Chelsea bench, but lots of players from both teams warming up along a little thin strip of near side touchline. You're very close to the action here if you're watching from the stands or sitting on the bench. There's no big gap at Stamford Bridge, and not like at Stuart's old club West Ham at the London Stadium, for example. And so Gusto back on his feet again. It's intriguingly poised, though, isn't it? 19 minutes into the second half. Chelsea trying to finish it off, but Brentford, they're hanging in there at the moment.
Yeah, they're dogged, Brentford. There's no doubt about that. They've been pretty consistent. They'll be disappointed conceding that goal just before half-time. If they hadn't conceded that and this game still been at 0-0, it would have been very interesting, and maybe the natives getting a little bit restless on the back of that, but they're still in the game and they're looking for that opening, which they've not had at this moment in time.
The key takeaway is that Chelsea are going to be 2 points behind the leaders Liverpool. The Liverpool will have a game in hand on everybody. Brentford restart the game with Chelsea temporarily down to 10. Keane Lewis Potter's cross blocked off by Madueke. Now Collins tried to surge forward down the left, forgot to take the ball with him. Jackson there to win it back. Collins sliding back at him. Jackson keeps the ball. He's dribbled up to the halfway line, and then his pass takes a deflection right into the feet of Madueke. He races to the edge of the D and a low shot. No power behind it. Easy for Mark Flecken. Now is Gusto back on? He's still waiting to come back on. Chelsea win it back after the goalkeeper's throw was intercepted athletically by Caicedo, and now Gusto is on the field again.
Yeah, I think they had to keep Gusto off for a period of time because he stopped a very promising Brentford attack by the injury.
Who would have thought this weekend that Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City would all drop points at home in home matches?
Amazing.
And Forest still in fourth in the Premier League.
You sound surprised, my friend.
What a job Nuno's doing. Again, one of the most impressive managerial performances so far this season in the Premier League, maybe the best. Although Brentford would go sixth if they were to win tonight, but they're 1-0 down. Jackson's touch, Palmer, he played it through. Here is Sancho, round the goalkeeper, angle tight. He has to put it back. He gets beyond Flecken. He dinks it in, headed off the line. Very nearly brilliant composure by Sancho. He got round Flecken twice, but the angle was so tight that he couldn't shoot, and Sancho still has to wait for his first goal in Chelsea colours at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I thought he strayed offside, but he didn't. Just seen the replay on that one. He's onside, and he's done brilliant composure. But it's that man Pinnock again. He seems to be in the right place at the right time when Brentford need him.
Well, he's had an outstanding career and an amazing rise from non-league football, Ethan Pinnock. Enzo Fernandez in the centre circle for Chelsea. Out to the right, Malo Gusto. Still 1-0 to Chelsea in the West London derby as we reach the midway point of the second half here on TalkSport 2. All 10 Premier League matches on Boxing Day will be live on the TalkSport network. 50 games in December. And we'll speak about Manchester City losing the Manchester derby. Their next game, away at Aston Villa, is exclusively live on TalkSport on Saturday at 12:30 kickoff. Now, Visser for Brentford. Brings the ball down in front of a slightly hesitant toss-in. Eventually, Gusto comes across to win it back, whip it off the toes of Visser, and play it back to Sanchez. They've not had a meaningful effort on goal in the game, Brentford, but they only need one, potentially.
Well, a lot of that's down to Chelsea. They've stopped attacks and they've got their foot in front of players that think they've got more time on the ball. Done extremely well.
Jadon Sancho into the penalty area, jinks back onto his left foot, then back onto his wide. Wide on the left is Cucurella. Palmer delivers, good cross, only half away. Noni Madueke from the angle is blocked by Lewis Potter. And now Malo Gusto delivers, first time cross, up to Cucurella, headed away. Palmer calls for it, very tight angle, can't get the shot in. Brentford have got everybody inside the penalty area, defending now, clinging on in the game. A Chelsea second surely makes the point safe.
This is where Cole Palmer's worth his weight in gold. Ball come out to him, just whips it straight back into the danger zone. Good quality as well. A lot of players in the league, you see, take their time on the ball, take too many touches, it never comes into the box. Not Cole Palmer.
Here is Levi Colwill hooking in a high cross for Chelsea, and that's where the hit. And the Chelsea fans on their feet behind the Matthew Harding end were expecting better. So just over 20 minutes of normal time to go. Thomas Frank's Brentford plotting another great result at Chelsea in the Premier League, but they're 1-0 down at the moment. Still very much in the game as Brentford try to play the ball out from the back, and hearts in mouths. It's so nervy watching it even as a neutral. Brentford's attempts to steer the ball away from the Chelsea press, and they've done it just about. Here is Yarma Liuk sliding in his Caicedo, foul, lip of the centre circle, free kick to Brentford. who take it quickly to Rösler. Out on the right-hand side, onto Mbeumo. Jinking quick feet from Mbeumo. Out to the right and Rösler again. Steers it infield to Yarmolenko. Little flick back to Mbeumo midway inside the Chelsea half. Poor ball. Underhit. Intercepted by Sancho. The latest odds, you can head to William Hill as Chelsea come forward now with Nicholas Jackson, left wing, pokes it down the middle, overhit. Palmer was chasing, but Collins gets across. William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now, Chelsea win at 1-9, Brentford to win at 40-1, the draw at 7-1. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18 plus, BigGambleAware.org. Lewis Potter over the halfway line for Brentford. Tottenham still lead 5-0 at Southampton. Tottenham have declared, it feels like, it's St Mary's maybe in the second half. On Talk Sport right now, Collins was just bent forward there a little awkwardly. I don't think is there a problem for Collins? Maybe not.
Don't know, but what you do know, there's a lot of activity down on that Brentford bench at the moment. I can see 2 or 3 players potentially coming on.
Oh, and here's Visser down the middle, saved by Sanchez. High ball downfield towards Visser. The flag is up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. Visser from close range tried to poke it home, and he was in an offside position. Sanchez was alert to deny him, but that is certainly a warning shot for Chelsea.
I've got to say, the lines, the assistant referees are absolutely brilliant at their job, you know. When you look at the speed of that attack, he got it absolutely spot on, and you're talking centimetres being the difference.
And certainly an example of the delayed flag working effectively.
Yeah, great example just there.
And Brentford are going to bring on Fabio Carvalho and the big defender Christopher Ayer shortly. Carvalho, who is very familiar with West London and London in general. He started playing football in South London in Balham and began his professional career at Fulham. Then there was that move to Liverpool that didn't really work out. And Christopher Ayer, as I say, also coming on. He's had some fitness issues of late. Brentford are 1-0 down, but they're having a good spell. Visser back to goal. 18 minutes to go. Wide to the near side, and Lewis Potter. And Mbeumo is in the middle waiting for the cross. Lewis Potter tees it up. Oh, and that took a big deflection off Enzo Fernandez, and then spun behind at pace for a Brentford corner, and those away fans are on their feet roaring them on.
Well, they might just start believing now that Brentford might have the opportunity of getting something out of this game. Obviously, we've come to a stage of the game that Thomas Frank has decided to throw some subs on, but he's waiting till after this corner comes in by the looks of things.
Kevin Schade, who is on this amazing goal-scoring run, coming on shortly for Brentford. They've got plenty of height in the team ahead of this corner. Now, what's Lewis Potter saying? He's waving towards the touchline. Is he saying, don't make the changes yet? I don't think they were going to make the changes anyway.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's just waving to ask them, where do you want me to stand for this corner by the looks of it.
Brian Mbeumo into Norgard at the near post, and he mishit it. Cleared away, back in by Janelt, headed down by Pinnock, smuggled away by Chelsea. Not very far, hooked over his shoulder by Collins, and Norgard! What a save! What a save by Sanchez! A flying stop to deny the Brentford captain. Free at the back post, good connection with it. Sanchez tips it over, corner to Brentford.
Well, Brentford done brilliant there, kept the ball alive on 2 or 3 occasions when it come in the box. Norgard, very, very similar to Jackson's effort earlier, but showed Jackson how you get it on target, and what a wonderful save by the goalkeeper.
Could Chelsea yet be made to pay? In by Mbeumo again towards Pinnock. Good header away by Tosin. Chelsea far from out of the woods just yet. 17 to go on TalkSport 2. They lead 1-0, but here come Brentford with Mbeumo, and a cross under pressure. He had to hit that, otherwise Chelsea might have won it back, and it's gone through to Sanchez, who hasn't had a lot to do, but did very well there.
That save was absolutely outstanding. If that hits the back of the net, all this good work that Chelsea are put into practice will be for nothing.
Flying save from Sanchez, so they are going to make that triple change in a minute. Brentford, the trio are ready. Schade and Ayer and Carvalho. Long ball by Tosin, header away by Rösler, and there's real pressure on Chelsea. What's their resilience like now against a difficult opponent who've caused them so many problems here on this ground in the past? It's not always about how you win in terms of entertainment, but if you want to be in the title race, showing an ability to be resilient in matches like this.
Well, they've been resilient defensively as well this season, I think, Chelsea. Keeping things tight at the back. You know they can score goals.
Jackson, 25 yards out! Corner just wide. Goalkeeper scrambling. Did he get a touch? Goal kick, says the referee.
Well, the Chelsea players tell a different story. Their body language, they're convinced the goalkeeper's got something on this. Probably did, actually. Just fingertips. Very slight fingertips, I think.
So here come the Brentford changes. And Yarmoliuk leaving the field, as is Visser. Sharda and Carvalho come on, so those are the two swaps there. And who's the other player coming off? We said there might be a problem for Collins, but he stays on, and I don't think there is a fitness issue. It is Roerslev coming off to be replaced by Ayer.
Yeah. Well, could be the last throw of the dice here, I think. Thomas Frank trying to shake things up to get this valuable goal.
And certainly, we mentioned Sharda in particular. He has shown signs of potentially turning into a very effective player at Premier League level, hasn't he, over the last few weeks, with the hat-trick that he scored against Leicester in particular. 4 Premier League goals this season and all in his last 3 matches. Ayer has gone to right back. You can't miss him. Right wing back, the 6'6" defender. And Burma down the middle for Brentford. They're having a really good spell with 14 to go. Ayer's cross, Carvalho off the bar. Sharda with the rebound onto the roof of the net. Unbelievable. All 3 substitutes involved. What a cross from Ayer. Carvalho stretching onto the woodwork. And then Sharda couldn't convert. What a triple substitution. It so nearly was.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen an impact. First touch by all of the substitutes. Created and it's hit the underside of the bar, hasn't it, Joe? A touch by the Chelsea defender, Colwill. Then the finish, hit the underside of the bar, overhead kick, and on the roof of the net.
Chelsea clinging on to their lead here on TalkSport 2. No sign of any Chelsea changes just yet. Although you must say, not a great deal of experience on that Chelsea bench at Premier League level. So maybe that's why Maresca's a bit reluctant, possibly. Given away by Sancho, and the defenders backing off as Mpermo tears forward. He sets up Sharda with his back to goal. Sharda spins, and then a good late challenge on the recovery by Colwill to send it back to Sanchez.
Okay, the Brentford fans feel as though there's something in the game for them at the moment. They're getting more and more players forward, being more aggressive with their defensive work.
Only picked up a point away from home this season in the Premier League. Away at Everton in a goalless draw. Collins has given it straight to Enzo Fernandez. There's been one massive let-off now for Chelsea. And as you say, Stuart, I don't think that has ever happened in the Premier League before, has it? That triple substitution, triple first touch.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. As I say, it was incredible. Great ball across. And we're talking millimetres.
Slow tossing to get it away. Brentford win it back with Vitaly Janelt, and his cross is charged down by Gusto. Well intercepted though by Lewis Potter. The ball out of defence. Lewis Potter scampers infield and curls in a shot, and Sanchez is behind it. Not enough power behind it from Lewis Potter. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0. What a game this is. Relentless pace and energy, and Cole Palmer now trying to influence proceedings. He is blocked off by Norgard. It's gone from being all Chelsea to all Brentford with 12 minutes left.
Well, what's changed in the game is the fact that Brentford are starting to win these little 50-50s, jump in front of people and get the run of the ball, where Chelsea dominated that part of the game.
It's TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Tottenham 5-0 up at Southampton on TalkSport. This game much tighter, and a far more intriguing conclusion you'd imagine to come. Chelsea trying to wrap it up. Madueke near side the right, thinks about scampering in field onto that favoured left foot, rolls the ball back to Malo Gusto instead. Do Chelsea hold what they have? I don't really think that's the Maresca way of doing things.
I get the impression, Joe, that they feel as though their best means of defence is keep chasing this second goal, personally.
And Palmer's played it through, and Jackson is clear. Jackson stumbles, can't get the shot in. Pinnock makes the tackle, and Brentford smuggle it away. Not been Jackson's night in front of goal, to say the least.
No, you're right there. It's probably just, if he brushes that up and cleans that part of his game up, he is going to be a very, very effective centre-forward. I think he is now, but he could comfortably have had 2 goals tonight.
Missed an open goal, Jackson, tonight. Fabio Carvalho for Brentford, inside right channel, and he was beaten to it by Caicedo with a very important challenge. Early ball over the halfway line. Enzo Fernandez. Jackson, he's got Palmer to his left. It's 2 against 2. Jackson goes on and finds the net superbly. This time he was not to be denied. Chelsea with that winning touch, and Jackson gets his goal, and that should seal Brentford for once at Stamford Bridge. Finally, the jinx is over, and Chelsea are heading to within 2 points of the Premier League table. It looks like being a very happy Christmas for Enzo Maresca and co. Chelsea 2, Brentford 0.
Well, incredible. How important was that underside Labar attack from Brentford? Come out, they didn't get the equaliser. Jackson had opportunities to get the second, and then all of a sudden he showed us why he can be a very effective striker. Got Pinnock one-on-one outside of his foot and drove it into this near post. Game, set and match, I think, Joe.
And I think great courage there from Jackson Stewart, because maybe the easy option, well, not necessarily the easy option, but Palmer was to his left, and when you've missed a couple of chances, the temptation must be to play it.
I think that's the nature of him, you know. I think he is that type of individual. I don't know him particularly well, but he seems that type of individual that will be unshakable. Will keep trying to get in there, trying to finish, and he's probably finished the toughest one of the 3 chances he's had.
And I think the celebrations from the Chelsea fans really tell you a lot about the significance of that goal. Chelsea fans punching the air with delight in front of us, and I think it'll bring on Nkunku after all here. Chelsea, they are. Was that Jackson's last touch of the ball? Was his most difficult chance by a long way.
Yeah, it was. Good play. When he isolated Pinnock one-on-one, there was a problem. Pinnock kept him outside, and he's hoping his goal is going to bail him out. He didn't do that. It's a great strike, a dipping strike that probably the dip has beaten the goalkeeper.
2-0 Chelsea, and that surely does it for them. That Brentford jinx is done now, you would think, barring a dramatic comeback. Brentford trying to get on the attack from kick-off, but Carvalho has been penalised. Chelsea playing from left to right towards the Matthew Harding end, and they all went to celebrate with Jackson, who's now going to get, I'm sure, a great reception as he comes on.
Yeah, as I say, he's an effective striker, no doubt about that. Chelsea's first choice centre forward. He's got pace, got physical presence, and I think he's just a young man that's going to get better and better.
And he has found the back of the net to make it 2-0 to Chelsea, his 9th goal of the season, and intriguingly, here comes the man who is actually Chelsea's top scorer in all competitions, Nkunku. Yeah, you look amazed. 12 goals this season for Nkunku, which is remarkable, but only 2 of them have come in the Premier League. He's just been so prolific in the Conference League.
Well, that's not a bad backup for Maresca to have, to be quite honest with you. Player coming on who's your top goal scorer.
Tossin rolls the ball back to Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez, and the urgency and the nervousness that was creeping in for Chelsea surely has been taken out of the game now. 2-0 up, and they've won it back? No. Foul by Enzo Fernandez on Norgard. Referee thought about it and then did give the free kick.
Yeah, Chelsea players not too happy with that decision. I think the reaction of players going to ground certainly influences referees this day and age.
Moments in matches though, right, Stuart Pearce? Brentford could have scored, but off the bar from Carvalho, and then Chelsea break, and suddenly Jackson finds that killer touch that he was missing.
Yeah, exactly that. As I say, the goal before half-time's always a killer for teams. You know, they've done reasonably well, settled into the game a little bit, and then they concede at half-time just before.
Here come Brentford with Janelt. Corner of the penalty area. Early ball to the back post. Out comes the goalkeeper. Makes an excellent and brave save to deny Burma. Has to be one of, if not, Sanchez's best performance of the season.
Yeah, well done the goalkeeper. He's come out there. And Buemo's flown in at the far post. Don't know what's the matter with him. Shot off the end of the pitch and it took an eternity to come back on again.
And Chelsea trying to take advantage, leading by 2-0 now on Talk Sport. Sliding in his Malo Gusto. Firm but fair to win it back off Janelt. Bites about this Chelsea team. Enzo Fernandez scoops it high to the right. Noni Madueke driving forward. Enzo Fernandez on the overlap. Here he is again. And the cross is too close to Flecken, who gathers easily. And a quick ball out to the right-hand side, Anaya. Well, Enzo Maresca unsure. Won't say that Chelsea are in the title race, but that will become increasingly difficult now to sustain that line. There's a real togetherness about the Chelsea team and the fans, illustrated just then, I think, Stuart, by the fact that Sancho went down, won a free kick, was really whipping up the crowd in his support, and then got a big high five from Cucurella.
Yeah, certainly there's players brimming with confidence at the moment. This result again, what's that, 6 in a row now in the Premier League?
It's been very impressive, 5 in a row in the Premier League.
Yeah, so very, very impressive as well. Looking good in Europe. And going into this Christmas period where points are available and in touching distance of the leaders now.
Got to say, Stuart, some winnable games as well. Away at Everton, Fulham at home, that won't be easy on Boxing Day. Then trips to Ipswich and Crystal Palace. I mean, Chelsea, they will be targeting maximum points.
Yeah, you'd have to, and if you want to be league champions, that's the sort of thing you've got to do.
Palmer's free kick, toss in! Flying header just wide of the top corner.
Great ball in again by Palmer. Took the free kick, whipped it in, and tossing. Brilliant movement. If you want to get on the end of things and want to score goals from free kicks or corners, just have a look at Tossing's movement there.
Given away by the goalkeeper Flecken, and Caicedo goes for goal from range, and Flecken's there together. Not enough behind it from Caicedo. Brentford have brought on Magoma for Lewis Potter, by the way. Chelsea relentless. Madueke with a driving run, and his low shot is blocked by a sliding Pinnock. Chelsea are all over Brentford now. They're hungry for more goals, Chelsea. And they've barely got enough time to even think at the moment, those Brentford defenders, as Chelsea tear forward yet again. 2-0 up, 3 minutes of normal time to go. Meanwhile, still Southampton 0, Tottenham 5 on Talk Sport on the day where United won the Manchester derby and Crystal Palace beat their great rivals Brighton and Hove Albion 3-1 at the Amex. Stuart and Scott Minto will be on Talk Sport once we're done here to react to the day's football. As Norgard gives it away, Brentford look a beaten team now.
Yeah, they do. They do. This extra hour after the game that I'm going to do, it's a shame we haven't got much to talk about, really, isn't it, Joe?
You know, just a bit. Hardly anything's happened today. You'll want to potentially have your say tonight on 03717223344, but it'll be Danny Kelly, Scott Minto, who's our summariser at St Mary's, and Stuart here at Stamford Bridge. Looking back, and you're right, look, an hour is just not enough time to look back on the day's football and the weekend's football. Chelsea, the big winners this weekend in the title race?
100%, absolutely 100%. Not so much what they've done, which is vitally important for them, but what the opposition and the rivals around them and the other pretenders to lift the Premier League crown.
Free kick Chelsea, left wing position now. Palmer will take it. It's almost on the touchline itself, a yard infield from the west side of the ground. 90 seconds of normal time to go. Palmer delivers into the 6-yard box, cleared away by Pinnock facing his own goal. And Carvalho could only smuggle it through the legs of Palmer and out of play for a Chelsea throw. The winning run doesn't look like ending either.
No, it certainly doesn't. I'll tell you what, you've got to be impressed with Palmer's delivery. He puts the ball in areas that is horrible for defenders.
Cucurella looks for Caicedo from the throw. He's trying to battle his way beyond 2 or 3 in red and white. Kevin Schade scampers away at great pace with possession, and he pokes it through to Mbeumo. Mbeumo is clear, and he puts it past Sanchez. Brentford have got one back into the last 45 seconds of normal time, and maybe Chelsea's victory is not assured just yet.
Wow, interesting. An incredible break. The pass was absolutely magnificent, I've got to say. And Mbeumo, when he went in, I thought he'd take the goalie on and go around him. He didn't do that. He opened up his left foot and slid it past him. Great finish.
So it's Chelsea 2, Brentford 1. And Brian Mbeumo gets what almost feels like his customary Premier League goal. And another goal for him at Stamford Bridge. And Brentford are not finished. How much added time will there be? Chelsea were starting to cruise, and maybe they lost a little bit of concentration. It's 2-1. What a dramatic finish potentially looms here on TalkSport 2. 7 added minutes. Gasps from the Chelsea fans. Some around the ground had left. Confident victory was assured. Maybe it's not just yet. Malo Gusto has to poke it behind. It's a corner to Brentford.
Oh, Gusto was just trying to be a little bit too clever there in that corner flag. He's put his foot on the ball, sprung it out for a corner, and that is the last thing you needed to do, because the Brentford fans, the Brentford team, they've loaded the box up and got some physicality in there as well.
Brentford still believe. $3,000 at the shed end of the ground. Just under a minute of the 7 added played at the end of the game. Chelsea have brought everybody back. At the moment they're going to close the gap on Liverpool to 2 points, but Brentford could peg them back. Can they make it 2-2 at a ground where they've never lost in the Premier League? It'll be taken by Fabio Carvalho. They're queuing up in red and white. Carvalho delivers. Up go the heads. Cleared away by Colwill for Chelsea. They'll need more of that. Magoma the substitute. Back to Mbeumo. Drills it long and high and deep. Ayer at the back post, back across goal. And Kunku only half away. Janelt's touch. Now Chelsea break. Cole Palmer. Up the middle. Lovely ball to Malo Gusto. He's held it up 25 yards out. He's got runners right and left. He's gone left to Jadon Sancho. He tries to bear down on goal. Palmer curls it. That's blocked. Chelsea want handball. Nothing given. Chelsea 2, Brentford 1 on TalkSport 2. 2 through the 7 added played. Stuart Pearce.
Well, Caicedo's done brilliant there. Chelsea, best means of defence with Chelsea. They're trying to get another goal. And really what they need to do is just keep possession of the ball and try and douse this fire that is Brentford at the moment. They're sniffing a potential point.
And Enzo Maresca gesticulating on the near side touchline as Chelsea try to wrap it up. And I don't think they're going to whip this into the box.
No, I think
only Nkunku's there.
The manager's shouting over. You never know with Chelsea. They've got every chance of doing so. I think Cole Palmer's over it. I think all he'll do is shove it to Enzo and just keep it into that corner potentially.
You wouldn't be surprised with Palmer's quality if he did find the perfect ball for the one man in the penalty area.
Well, he's certainly got the quality to do so.
And he's just played it square.
But he's got the footballing IQ not to do so as well.
Long period still for Chelsea to see out, and Palmer's stumbled, and it's a Brentford throw deep inside their half the field. Chelsea 2, Brentford 1. Cucurella with the opener, Jackson with the second that looked to have wrapped it up, but Brown and Burma with a goal back for Brentford.
Well, this whole weekend's been full of surprises with the results and performances and the like, and we've probably got 4 minutes to have a massive turnaround in this game potentially.
Arsenal dropped points at home yesterday, Liverpool dropped points at home yesterday, Manchester City beaten by Manchester United today. Chelsea looking to be the big winners this weekend in the title race. Halfway through 7 added, 2-1 ahead. Brentford are throwing everybody forward for a free kick in their own half. Flecken smashes it high downfield. Another free kick to Brentford. Lip of the centre circle, this one.
Chelsea have held a high line at the back of their circle for a free kick which is inside the 18-yard box basically, and give a foul away. Caicedo has just pushed someone over. All of a sudden the goalkeeper moves up into the opposition half, and now they've got to defend one in and around their box. Amateurish mistake.
Long line of Brentford players forward. Everybody's up for this free kick in the 95th minute. Flecken, the goalkeeper, inside the Chelsea half, stands over the ball. Chelsea with nearly everybody back. Flecken will float it high up to the edge of the box. Poor, headed away by Cucurella, and Kunku holds it up. Enzo Fernandez gives it away straight to Norgard, scoops it long, corner of the area. Pinnock's pushing header, intercepted by Cucurella. On to Sancho, he's away from Mbeumo, and Mbeumo slides in. Chelsea throw. 2.5 minutes left, 2-1 Chelsea.
Well, you've got a feeling Brentford might just get one more opportunity to load the box up and put numbers in. Cucurella done fantastically well there, getting contact on the ball.
Clearance away by Van den Berg for Brentford. Only as far as the halfway line. Cucurella dived in.
Brentford
didn't like
could be
that.
Going for this.
Here comes the referee. Yellow card for Cucurella. Free kick to Brentford on the halfway line. They've never lost in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. Is tonight the night that run ends, or can they strike in the last minute and 45 seconds on TalkSport 2?
There we go, Chelsea holding the line, probably about 35-40 metres from goal. Sanchez very aggressive with his position. But Brentford will look to keep the first one alive and see what they get from that.
He's on the edge of his own box, the goalkeeper. Plenty of 6-foot-plus players in the Brentford attack. Long from Flecken, Cucurella goes down. That's a free kick to Chelsea. Midway inside their own half the field, and another few seconds can drift away. More Chelsea fans now heading for the exits, and now Janelt marching over to the referee as Cucurella is slow to get up, and it's a booking for Janelt.
I'm not joking. When you see what Cucurella just done then, he just sort of run into the shoulder of Janelt and fell over. Really poor.
Well, the Chelsea qualities of creative ability and character and resilience, the two sides that you have to show.
Indeed. And cunning and foul play.
Yeah, well, yeah, in that instance,
all in equal measure.
Yeah. Well, you have to have something of the dark arts, don't you?
Indeed.
You're going to be a title contender. Chelsea free kick. Is Sanchez going to pump this long? He does. 30 seconds of the 7 added to go. Headed away. It'll drift out of play. Clever from Palmer. Using his strength, shrugged aside the big defender Van den Berg, and it's a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, he's got good game understanding, Palmer. I've got to say, sometimes you look at the actions of players and you think, why have you tried that? Why have you done that? In the main, he knows exactly what he's doing at the right times.
Christopher Nkunku bursting into the box, can't tear away from Christopher Ayer, who hammers it long downfield. No foul by Colwill on Mbeumo. Back to the goalkeeper from tossing. 2-1 Chelsea into added time on added time. The Chelsea fans are desperate for the final whistle, but it's not forthcoming. The ball is deep inside the Brentford half. Here is Megoma, and the final whistle blows, and Chelsea are surely right in the Premier League title race. Not even Enzo Maresca could deny it now. They closed the gap on Liverpool at the top to just 2 points, and heading into the festive period, it feels like Chelsea have got the momentum. It is a first Premier League victory over Brentford at Stamford Bridge, and it ends with yellow cards being ushered by the referee. 1 or 2 players from both sides going head to head at the full-time whistle. I'm not sure whether Cucurella has been booked a second time by the referee, and he has now been sent off at the final whistle, Mark Cucurella. Maybe for something that he said, maybe for an altercation with a Brentford player.